like the worst thing he could have done.
How dare you?
Anne, Shirley, what is the meaning of this?
Guess what we're watching today? Hello! Welcome to another edition of Author Ejamie Watches, a somewhat weekly show where I react to television shows and or movies and hopefully entertain y'all. For this week we are watching a movie. We are finally watching the adaptation of one of my favorite book series of all time, Anne of Green Gables. We are watching the 1980s Megan Follows version. I'm not a fan of the Anne with an E TV show, only because of the actor who played Gilbert. I find him in real life to be a bit of an ass butt. So hashtag not my Gilbert. My Gilbert is in this adaptation that we are about to watch right now. So I've seen like bits and pieces of this many years ago, like as a child, and of course I've seen the the pulling the braid scene referenced many times in pop culture, but I don't remember watching the movie in its entirety. I don't. However, last year I absolutely fell in love with this series. This series just caught me in the best time, where I wasn't having any issues, like, really with my mental health, but this series just puts you in such a good mood, and just the way that Lucy Maud Montgomery writes is so calming and just so emotional in like the best way, and it's just a feel good series. It has its dark moments. That young character that I adored so much, that was done so dirty, that is in later books, that there's a video in one of my vlogs. There's a clip of my reaction to what happened to this precious character. But we are here to talk about the movie. So, if you are new here, you will get the heavily edited version here on YouTube. My hair is still very wet from my shower. I decided just to sort of leave it down and let it air dry. I don't usually blow dry my hair anyway, but I usually like just put it up and sort of just back out of my way so that it looks somewhat presentable. Today, I just decided to just leave it down because we are in a hot stretch of heat here in Toronto. It's just icky and yucky, and just I don't like the summer. I'm a fall girl. So I decided to just sort of let it dry. And this movie is 2 parts. So the entire running time is about 3 hours and 15 minutes. Now, as a girl who watches Turkish dramas, those episodes usually run 2 hours something. So this is a little bit longer than that, and those are long. So we shall see how this goes. And yeah, so the heavily edited version will hopefully be up here on YouTube. If you want to, you can watch the full unedited version that will be up on Patreon. And yeah, and you'll get this. Thank you to everybody who's joined me on Patreon so far. You guys are awesome. Thank you to the new subscribers who are joining me here on YouTube. You guys are awesome as well. And just you guys here, and if you like the video, and you can share it with other people who would like it, that would help me out as well. If you don't want to do the Patreon thing, that's totally fine. YouTube is perfectly fine if that's all you want to do. But you'll just get the heavily edited version. So I say let's get into it. I'm so excited! So this is the 1980s adaptation of Anne of Green Gables, starring Megan Follows and my Gilbert Blythe, may he rest in peace. Jonathan Crombie, I believe his name was.
I know you understand.
Oh, Katie,
If I hadn't lost
mirror
myself
friend.
in the
Oh my
beauty of the
God.
day, the only beauty which is vouchsafed me, oh, Mr. Hammond might still be with us.
And what about the girl? She's a home child, isn't she?
Yeah.
She'll have to go back to the orphanage.
Best thing that ever happened to her.
Mrs. Hammond, you must know how much I want to be of help to you in your time of trial. I consider it a burden I must bear.
I was daft when I took you in. It's all you're doing.
Nice.
None but yours.
Nice.
I blame myself entirely, Mrs. Hammond. To have to wait an extra hour for lunch is a terrible burden on any man, and I shall never overcome my grief. But going back to an orphanage would be more than I could bear. I beg of you, Mrs. Hammond, please let me stay with you.
Orphan children are all the same. Trash.
Trash. That's right, Aunt Shirley. Poor, miserable trash that don't deserve no better.
Oh, I hate her. Oh, I hate her so much.
And what were your parents' names?
Walter and Bertha Shirley. Aren't they lovely names? I'm proud they had such nice names. It would be such a disgrace to have a father called, Hezekiah.
Doesn't matter what a person's name is, as long as they behave themselves. Well, this is a real Christian place you folks is running here, and I sure am grateful to you for helping me out of this predicament. Now, Mrs. Hammond, wait a minute. Mrs. Hammond! We can't take her for at least another
She
month.
yeeted out of there.
Payments to be signed!
Bye!
Lady, I got a train to catch.
Oh, I hate her so much.
It's just that my life is a perfect graveyard of buried hopes now. That's a sentence I read once, and I
She's
say
such
it
a
over to
drama
comfort
queen, I
myself
love her.
in these times that try the soul.
We've had a request for 2 of our girls to live with families in Prince Edward Island. And I've decided that you will be one of them.
Which is basically
Thank you, Mrs.
the Anne of Green
Avery.
Gables island
Thank you
now,
with all my heart.
I wish to
considering
warn
the
the
effects
Bensons,
that this book
but it
has had
it seems that I
on
must.
that island. That's pretty much their industry now. It's the Anne of Green
Shattered
Gables
this dream
island.
world that you live in. Now get into your nightgown and go to bed.
Yoo-hoo, Marilla!
Colleen Dewhurst! Oh my god! Mrs. Cuthbert.
Ah, Rachel, good morning.
Ugh,
And how
she
are
was a
all the
Canadian
ladies?
icon, y'all. Colleen
Oh,
Dewhurst.
we're all right as rain, Marilla. But I was in a suit.
I need explains!
Yes, Rachel. Well,
I need
Matthew never goes to
explains,
town,
Marilla.
I hear. Matthew wasn't going to town. Oh, don't keep me in such suspense.
She's gonna explode.
He was going to Bright River. We're getting a little boy from an orphanage in Nova Scotia, and he's coming in on the afternoon train. A boy?
About that.
You can't be serious. Well, you don't know anything about raising children. Whatever put such an idea into your head?
Well, been gone a half an hour ago. There was a passenger dropped off for you. She's waiting for you on the platform. Not to worry, Matthew. I don't think she bites.
Well, it's a boy I've come for.
Oh, she won't have any trouble explaining. She has a tongue of her own.
like, ah, fuck. What the hell happened here? Oh, she's so cute.
Matthew Cuthbert. My name is Anne Shirley. Anne spelt with me. I was beginning to be afraid you weren't coming for me today, so I made up my mind to climb up that big wild cherry tree and wait for you till morning. It would be lovely to sleep in a cherry tree, all silvery in the moonshine, don't you think?
Oh, yes, it would. I mean, no. I mean, there's been a big mistake.
Oh no, there's no mistake. Not if you're Mr. Matthew Cuthbert. You are Mr. Matthew Cuthbert, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. But you're
Mrs.
not a
Spencer
12-year-old
told me to
boy.
wait right here for you, and so I've done. Most pleasantly, I must say. Oh, this is beautiful country you have here, Mr. Cuthbert.
Really? This section in the book is just her going on
I'm
and
very glad
on
you've
and
come.
on and on.
Even if it would have been nice to
Like,
sleep in
this
a
is
wild
this
cherry tree.
monologue, and he's like saying
We've got a
nothing.
long piece to drive yet, haven't we? Oh, I'm glad, because I love driving. It seems so wonderful that I'm going to live with you and belong to you. I've never really belonged to anyone before. And the asylum was the worst place I've lived in yet. Mrs. Spencer says it was wicked of me to talk like that, but I don't mean to be wicked. It's just so easy to be wicked without knowing it.
Granted, we didn't get a lot of her in the asylum, but I picture Mrs.
Am I
Hammond
talking
would be
too much?
worse.
Oh, people are always telling me I do, and I can't stop if I make my mind up to do it.
Talk all you like. I don't mind.
Oh, I know you and I
Because he
can get
doesn't
along
talk much
just
at all.
fine, Mr. Cuthbert.
And so it begins.
I can't feel exactly perfectly happy. Because, what color would you call this?
Red?
Red. That's why I can't ever be perfectly happy. I know I'm skinny and a little freckled, and my eyes are green. I can imagine I have a beautiful rose leaf complexion and lovely starry violet eyes, but I cannot imagine my red hair away. It'll be my lifelong sorrow. I read of a girl in a novel once who was divinely beautiful. Have you ever imagined what it must be like to be divinely beautiful?
The way the red hair is like so prized these days.
Oh, I have often. Which would you rather be? Divinely beautiful, or dazzlingly clever, or angelically good?
Well, I don't know.
Neither do I. I know I'll never be angelically good. Mrs. Spencer says I talk so much that... Mr. Cuthbert! Mr. Cuthbert, what is this place called?
The Avenue. Pretty, ain't it?
Pretty doesn't seem the right word to use. Nor
It's giving me all the
beautiful either.
feels of the book,
Don't
y'all.
go far enough.
Oh. Green Gables. Yonder.
Pinched myself so many times today to make sure that this was real. But it is real. And we're nearly home.
Oh, stop it! He's like, we're not sending you back. No. We're keeping you, child. Follows, my God.
Matthew Cuthbert.
Not surprised that she's become such an icon. Yeah, who this? Who this child? This is not the child. This is not what I ordered.
Girl. I can see that. Where's the boy?
There weren't any. just her. I figure we just couldn't leave her there, no matter what the mistake was.
You figured? Oh, this is a fine kettle of fish. This is what comes of sending word instead of going ourselves, Matthew.
You don't want me? You don't want me because I'm not a boy? Nobody ever did want me. I might have known this was all too beautiful to be true.
Come, now, don't cry. It is not your fault.
This is just the most tragical thing that has ever happened to me.
Tragical.
Well, what's your name?
Would you please call me Cordelia?
Jesus. Yeah, that's right. Cordelia.
Call you Cordelia?
Don't you think it's a pretty name?
Is that your name?
Well, no, it's not exactly my name. But oh, I would love to be called Cordelia.
I don't understand what you mean.
Cordelia is a perfectly elegant name.
What is your name, child, and no more nonsense?
Anne Shirley. Plain old unromantic Anne Shirley.
Anne Shirley is a fine, sensible name and hardly one to be ashamed of.
Oh, I'm not ashamed. But if you're going to call me Anne, would you please be sure to spell it with an E?
What difference does it make how it is spelled?
Makes a lot of difference. Print out A-N-N and it looks absolutely dreadful, but Anne with an E is quite distinguished. So if you only call me Anne with an E, I'll try and reconcile myself to not being called Cordelia.
Very well then, Anne with an E. I suppose the asylum will take the child back.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mrs. Blewett was up here yesterday asking me if I could get her a little girl. She has such a large family, you know. 10 children, and another one on the way. She's simply beside herself.
God. She's another Mrs. Hammond.
Spencer, would there happen to be any twins among them?
Oh, she has 2 sets of twins. How did you know, child?
Twins seem to be my lot in life.
Spencer, Anne will be just a girl. And oh, look, there's Mrs. Blewett this blessed minute. I call this positively providential. You, Mrs. Blewett. Mrs. Blewett, Anne Shirley, she'll be just the thing for you.
Cuthbert, Mrs. Blewett. How old are you, girl?
13?
Ain't much to you. But you're wiry, and I don't know but the wiry ones can work the hardest. I'll expect you to earn your keep, no mistake in that. And I want you to act smart and be respectful.
Hold up.
All right, I'll take her. My twins have been awful fractious these days, and I'm terrible worn out.
Well, now, I don't know. I feel I oughtn't to make a decision until I speak to Matthew. I'll just take her home again and talk to him.
You
Good
did.
afternoon, ladies.
Bye.
Please, Miss Cuthbert, tell me if you're going to send me back. I made up my mind to be patient, but I just can't bear it any longer.
Well, you'll just have to bear it because I simply don't know. I thought maybe we'd put it on trial for a while. For all our sakes. Would that suit you?
If you think it's necessary, Miss Cuthbert.
I do. You may not be happy with 2 old grumps like us.
I know I would be. I'd be happier than even I could imagine at this present moment.
Couldn't you send her back?
Wow.
Well, we're still considering on it.
Considering on it, what is there to consider? I mean, a boy would have been bad enough.
But this is a friend and neighbor of mine, Mrs. Rachel Lynn, Anne Shirley.
How do you do, Mrs. Lynde?
Well, her looks are certainly nothing to consider. I mean, she's terribly skinny and homely, Marilla. Come over here, child. Lawful heart, her hair's as red as carrots.
Oh, she woke the beast.
Dare you say I'm skinny and carrots? You're a rude, impolite, unfeeling woman, and I hate you!
Anne Shirley.
How would you like to have nasty things said about you? How would you like to be told that you're fat and ugly and a sour old gossip?
Anne Shirley.
Oh, she woke the
Anne
beast.
Shirley, you come back at once and apologize.
Mark my words, Marilla. That's the kind put strychnine in the well.
You shouldn't have twitted her about her looks. Marilla Cuthbert! I'm not making excuses for her. Perhaps she was never taught what was right. But you were too hard on her, Rachel.
Rachel is too outspoken. But she is your elder, a stranger, and my guest. Not to mention my friend. All of them very good reasons for you to have bit your tongue. She deserves an apology. You will go to her and you will give it.
I can never do that. You can punish me any way you like. You can lock me up in a dark dungeon inhabited by snakes and toads and feed me on bread and water. I won't complain. But I cannot ask Mrs. Lynde to forgive me.
If you expect to remain under my roof, you will apologize to Mrs. Lynde.
Well, Marilla's a terrible, determined woman. You don't have to be exactly sorry, you know. You can just be sort of sorry.
I'm not sorry at all.
I hear Mrs. Blewett's an awful workhorse. And it'll be terrible lonesome around here without you. Couldn't you just kind of smooth it over?
You really don't want me to go, do you?
She's so precious!
Anything for you, Matthew, if you really wanted me to.
Of course I do.
We can't let Mrs. Lynde be the cause of our parting. I don't have to be really sorry. I just have to remove the disgrace I brought upon Marilla's good name.
Don't tell Marilla that I said anything. She'll say I'm interfering.
Wild horses couldn't drag it from me. Sorry I lost my temper and said those rude things, and I'm willing to go and tell Mrs. Lynde so.
I think that's a wise decision. I'll take you over first thing. Now get up to bed and don't forget to say your prayers.
Yes, ma'am.
I knew that if we left her alone, she'd come to her senses.
Uh-huh. You're so right. You're so right, Marilla. Mm-hmm. I love him so much.
Mrs. Lynde,
Action!
I'm extremely sorry I behaved so terribly. I've disgraced my good friends who've let me stay at Green Gables on trial, even though I'm not a boy. I am wicked and ungrateful, and I deserve to be cast out forever. What you said was true. I am skinny and ugly, and my hair is red. What I said about you was true too, only I shouldn't have said it. Please, Mrs. Lynde,
slip that
forgive
in.
me. You wouldn't be so cruel as to inflict a lifelong sorrow on a poor orphan. Please, please forgive me.
There, child, of course I forgive you. I guess I was a bit hard. But you mustn't mind me. I'm known throughout these parts as a woman who speaks her mind.
My temper will never get the better of me again, even though I am red-haired.
I hope not.
Oh, girl.
Good behavior in the first place.
9 books
More
later.
important than theatrical apologies afterwards.
Since I had to do it, I thought I might as well do it thoroughly.
Oh. Save your thoroughness for prayer. How do you like them?
I can imagine I like them.
What's the matter with them?
They're not very pretty.
I'm not going to pamper your vanity. These are good and sensible dresses.
Oh my god, the puffy
This one
sleeve
is for Sunday
dress.
and the others you can wear to school.
That is
I
not
am
this.
grateful. But I'd be even more
Obviously.
grateful if you'd make this one with puff sleeves.
Down the
Do not
highway.
waste
Oh my god.
material on ridiculous-looking frills and furbelows. Have you seen my amethyst brooch?
Yes,
Did you touch it?
I pinned it on yesterday, but just to see what it looked like.
You had no business to meddle with my brooch. Where did you put it?
Back on the pin cushion. Honestly, Marilla, I didn't mean to meddle, and I promise I'll never do it again. That's the one good thing about me. I never do the same wrong thing twice.
The brooch is gone, and you were the last one to handle it. Did you take it out? and lose it?
I didn't.
Anne Shirley,
The brooch. I don't
You are
remember what
telling me
happens
a
to the brooch,
falsehood.
but I remember she didn't take it.
go to your room. And you will stay in your room until you confess, even if it takes a month of Sundays.
If you let me out for the picnic, I'll stay in my room as long as you like. I just have to go to the picnic.
You're not going to the picnic or anywhere else until you tell me the truth.
Marilla, I'm ready to confess.
What have you to say for yourself?
I took the brooch because I was too overcome with irresistible temptation. I was imagining I was Lady Cordelia Fitzgerald, and I just had to wear the brooch over the footbridge of the Lake of Shining Waters, with the wind blowing my auburn hair over to Camelot. I thought I could put it back before you came home, but as I leaned over to look at my reflection in the lake, it slipped from my fingers and sank beneath the rippling waves. It's the best I can do at confessing. Now may I go to the picnic?
No.
I realized the importance of the brooch, Marilla. Was it a keepsake from a tragic romance? You did say I could go if I confessed.
What you can do is pack your bags and start imagining your life with Mrs. Blewett.
Marilla.
That's right. Upstairs. Upstairs to apologize.
Whatever made you say that you took it and lost it?
You said if I
You said you'd
confessed.
keep me in my room
Yeah.
until I confessed. Just thought up a good confession and made it as interesting as I could.
But it was still a lie.
You wouldn't believe the truth.
Yep.
You do beat all, child. But I'll forgive you if you'll forgive me. Now, you get dressed for service.
Anna, I've always dreamed of being in a three-legged race at a picnic. Would you do me the honor of being my partner? But there aren't any other girls in it. You're a sturdy-looking girl, and I'm fast. I know we'd stand a good chance. I guess so. Come on.
Oh, Jesus. It's so ambiguous. Oh. There he is.
Hey, Diana.
My
Who's your friend?
Gilbert.
Anne Shirley.
My Gilbert.
On your marks. Get set.
I don't remember that she meets him here. I thought their first interaction was at school.
I never expected a daughter of mine to outrun the boys. I'm very proud of you, Diana.
All right, class. Take out your notebooks.
And how old is she?
Memorize the dictation from yesterday.
I know, like, back then, a lot of times Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Hey, Carrot.
Oh.
Carrot.
Oh. The worst thing he could have done.
Anne Shirley, what is the meaning of this?
It was my fault, sir. I was teasing her.
You stand at the blackboard for the rest of the day. I will not tolerate this kind of vindictive temperament in my class.
Literally the worst thing he could have done.
Shirley has a very bad temper. And she will learn to control it.
You
will write this 100 times before leaving today.
Wait. I'm sorry for teasing you about your hair. Don't be mad at me for keeps.
You are dead to me, Gilbert.
You have no reason to lose your temper. And Shirley, what have you done to your hair?
But nothing could be as bad as red hair. Green is 10 times worse.
That's right.
You know how utterly wretched I am.
I little know how you got into this fix, but I demand that you tell me.
I dyed it.
You dyed it? For mercy's sake, child.
How?
He positively assured me it turned my hair a beautiful raven black.
Who did? Who are you talking about?
The peddler we met on the road today.
Oh.
I absolutely forbid you to... What's the use? Well, I hope that this has opened your eyes to see where your vanity has taken you.
What shall I do? I'll never be able to live this down. Can't face him again. Gilbert Blythe had no right to call me carrots.
You really smashed your slate over that boy's head?
Yes,
Hard?
very hard, I'm afraid.
She broke it.
I know I should be angry. I should be furious. What a way to behave your first day at school. But if you promise me that nothing of this sort will happen again, I won't say another word about it.
You're not going to send me back?
I've come to a decision. The trial is over. You will stay at Green Gables.
Marilla.
It's so funny. That's what sets her mind. The fact that she did this.
I think you may be a kindred spirit after all.
Marilla's like, I would have done the same damn thing, girl.
Congratulations on the spelling test, Anne.
He's such a simp for her.
Oh, well, at least you're acknowledging me now. That's an improvement.
It is impolite to pass a person without at least nodding, and so I nod out of elementary good breeding. Nothing more.
Oh, why don't you get off your high horse?
Thank you for your heartfelt congratulations, Mr. Blythe, but allow me to inform you that next time I shall be first in every subject. Man, you've got more nerve than a fox in a hen house. Fell in love with Fair Geraldine.
He's such a simp for her. Oh, hello. This is my Gilbert. This is my Gilbert.
First, I'm pleased to announce that Anne Shirley and Gilbert Blythe have tied for first place honors in the term final.
Of course they have. Oh, she's so mad. Oh, Jesus. Really?
I suppose some people consider it an accomplishment to walk a little picket fence, Diana. I knew of a girl in Marysville who could walk the ridgepole of a roof. I don't believe it. You sure couldn't, little Miss Bookworm.
Oh,
couldn't I?
Oh, it's a little risky, don't you think, Anne?
Oh, is it indeed, Mr. Blythe? I dare you.
Oh, here we go.
I dare you to walk the ridgepole of Moody's kitchen roof.
Oh, bitches. Oh!
Don't do it, Anne. Never mind her. It's not a fair dare. I shall walk that ridgepole. Perish.
Oh my God. wife is about to die.
Unconscious. Thank you, Mr. Blythe.
Anne, I'll borrow a carriage and help you home.
It won't be necessary. I'm quite capable of getting there on my own.
I'm going away. Please let me give you a hand.
Thank you, Mr. Blythe, but I'm going in the opposite direction. Come along, Diana.
Jesus.
Anne, you should have let him help you. You're in no condition to walk home.
You shoot! He's just not that into you, Josie Pye.
Your ankle. I would. Do you think there might be ghosts living in there? It's all right, Diana.
Freaked out that Anne is. Oh, what is that? What did she fall in?
Why don't we ever come in here, Anne? I'm all right. I think I twisted my other ankle. Oh, what are we gonna do? Mustn't be afraid, Diane. I'll be all right here. Run home, find your father, and ask him if he'll come back and get me. If you get carried off by a ghost, I'd never forgive myself.
What's happened to her?
No fear, Marilla. She's all right.
Don't be very frightened, Marilla. I fell off the ridgepole at Moody Spurgeon's, and then I twisted my other ankle falling into an old well.
I should have known that you'd start the summer this way. Barely the last day of school.
Oh! Raspberry cordial, right? Oh, that's my favorite.
Oh, here we go. Diana's about to get lit.
There's a little scope for imagination in cookery. You simply have to go by the rules.
Oh, girl. Oh, girl.
Last time I made a cake, I forgot to put the flour in it. I was thinking of a lovely story about us, Diana. I imagined you were desperately ill with smallpox. Then I took smallpox and died. And you planted a rose bush by my grave, watered it with your tears. Never, ever. Such a trial to her. Oh, I feel sick. Oh, I gotta go home. Diana, you haven't eaten yet. A piece of cake and another glass of cordial will be just the thing. Please, have some. Oh.
Oh, God.
You can't be sick. Wake up. I gotta go home. Lie down. You'll feel better. Oh. Now tell me, where does it hurt? Oh, I gotta go home.
Wrong. What on earth did you give her?
Only raspberry cordial. She had 3 glasses of it, but I didn't know it would set her drunk.
You certainly have a genius for trouble. This is currant wine. Can't you tell the difference?
No!
Neither.
Stop.
Oh no.
I wondered, would you permit her to join a special class? You see, I intend to give extra classes after school for those students who intend to take the entrance exams at Queen's.
The college in Charlottetown. RN.
She's bright and energetic.
Oh, she's so
well, very
proud.
determined.
She's
I
so
think that she could
proud.
pass for a teacher or even go on to the university.
Well, I've always thought that a girl should learn to make a living. It's a very insecure world. Well, of course she can join the class if she wants to.
Oh, that is wonderful.
Why don't you stay for supper? I'm just about to set the table.
No,
dear.
Really, I couldn't propose.
Oh, stuff and nonsense. You wouldn't be imposing at all, and then you could tell Anne all about it yourself.
Well, all right. That was a delicious dinner, Miss Cuthbert.
Oh, thank you, Miss Stacy. Anne actually made this plum pudding herself.
Oh, really? Well, I can hardly wait to taste it.
Oh,
please
well.
do.
Don't eat it, Miss Stacy!
What is wrong with you?
Oh my god.
A mouse drowned in the sauce. Marilla, I was working up the courage to tell you when Stacy came in. Diana!
My little sister's awful sick with the croup, and Mary just babysitting, and she doesn't know what to do. And we can't get word to Mother and Father because they're at the rally still.
Don't worry, Diana. Matthew will get the doctor. We're such kindred spirits, I can read his thoughts.
Dr. Claire's at the rally too. Oh, I'm awful scared. Baby can't breathe.
Get my coat, Diana.
That's right, because she's taking care of like 50 kids at this point.
Put some wood in the stove, Mary Jo, and pour some water. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but you might have thought of that before if you had any imagination.
Would have been too late by the time I got here. Saved this little baby's life.
Matthew's so proud.
I'm so ashamed, Anne.
As well you should
saved
be.
my baby's life.
I harbor no hard feelings towards you, Mrs. Barry.
Oh. Oh.
Well, Mr. Cuthbert, what can I do for you today?
Well, now, I'd like, have you
There
got
he is!
any,
It's Mag Ruffman! Oh
do you have
my
any
god!
garden rakes?
Well, now, we don't carry garden rakes in the store
Another
in
Canadian
December,
icon.
but I'll check upstairs. We may have one or two in storage.
Her character continues on in the Road to Avonlea series. That is another series based on Lucy Maud Montgomery books. Oh my god!
The very last one.
While I'm here, I might want to look at, it wouldn't be too much trouble.
Yes?
Sugar.
Sugar.
Some sugar.
Oh, white or brown?
So, what would you say?
Well, we have some nice brown sugar in stock, Mr. Cuthbert. How much would you like?
Would 20 pounds be enough?
Yes, I'm sure 20 pounds will be enough.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be $1.
Clearly not shopping at Loblaws.
I need a dress.
Toronto peeps, if you know, you know.
With
leaves?
Bran.
Oh, land's sakes, Mr. Cuthbert, why didn't you say so in the first place? Now you just come with me to the window. Oh, it's so beautiful!
Brown sugar indeed. I knew Matthew was up to some foolishness.
Marilla, look at the puffs.
They're ridiculous. You'll have to turn sideways to get through the doors.
This can't be real.
I should have waited till Christmas, but I thought you might want to wear it to the ball. Don't you like it?
Like it? It's more exquisite than any dress I could ever have imagined.
Puff sleeves.
Puffiest in the world. You are a man of impeccable taste, Matthew.
Oh, he's so precious.
I don't want to get your dress dirty.
Oh my god. I knew it. I knew that would get me. Oh, yeah.
My. Doesn't Gilbert look dashing tonight? Gilbert? I hadn't noticed him. It's too bad you've been so awful to him. He might have asked you to dance. If I wanted him to ask me, which I don't, he certainly would. Gilbert Blythe would stand on his head for me if I asked him to. Oh, he looked right at you again. I bet you couldn't get him to dance with you. All right, Diana, if you insist.
That's the way to do it. There. Oh, Diana, you sly girl. You are the captain of that ship right there.
A glass of punch. Thank you.
Diana, you look wonderful tonight. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, Gilbert. How could you wish that person a Merry Christmas?
Didn't quite work.
I gather that person didn't ask her to dance after all. Well, will you give me the pleasure instead? Thank you. I believe I will.
And you are?
Aunt Josephine, Mother said you weren't coming until tomorrow.
Is that any reason to try to kill me in my sleep? Diana Barry, you are the worst behaved girl I have ever known. Your parents will certainly hear about this outrage.
It's all my fault, ma'am. It was my idea to race, and we didn't know you were in here. Honestly, we didn't. Please don't tell Mother, Aunt Jo. We're terribly sorry.
I most certainly will tell her.
It was all my doing, Miss Barry. Diana would never think of such a thing as racing to a bed and jumping on it. She's far too ladylike, whereas I am merely an orphan who doesn't know any better. So I think you ought to forgive Diana and let her have her music lessons back.
Oh, you do you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any idea what it's like to be wakened from the few hours of precious sleep granted an old woman in a strange bed by two ferocious wild girls landing on her head?
I don't know. I can imagine it must have been terrifying in the extreme. And if you had any imagination, you could put yourself in our place.
I haven't been in your place for 47 years, thank you very much.
Don't you have any imagination, Miss Barry?
My age, imagination is a threat to life.
But we honestly didn't know you were in there. And you scared us half to death. You should just imagine how exciting it was going to be for me to sleep in a spare bedroom reserved for important company such as yourself. As it was, I had to sleep with Minnie May, and you don't know how she kicks. Mine was the sleep of the bitterly disappointed Miss Barry. I was forced to lie awake all night with the knowledge that I had cost Diana her career as a world-famous concert pianist.
I suppose your claim to sympathy is as valid as mine. Do you know what I am composing here, Anne of Green Gables?
Sure I don't, Miss Barry.
It's a note expressing my outrage to Diana's parents. Trouble is, I don't feel outraged anymore. So, what do you suggest?
Perhaps if Diana apologized, which she's too frightened to do at this moment.
I have a better idea. Suppose I reinstate her music lessons in exchange for you coming to visit me in Charlottetown on occasion.
Me, Miss Barry?
Yes, you, Anne of Green Gables. Diana can come along as well. You amuse me, and precious little in this world amuses me at my age.
You seem a very interesting old lady to me. You're not an old ogre at all, are you? I didn't mean that. Excuse me, Miss Barry.
I most certainly am an old ogre, and don't you let on any different.
Please do not touch your papers until all the examinations have been distributed, or they will be discounted completely. You may now begin.
Hello there, Gil. You on your way home, too?
Yes, sir.
Well, I wish we could offer you a ride.
Oh, no, that's all right. I'm meeting Moody at the station. And I wish you luck on the exam. I hope you come in first. You've worked hard.
Thank you. But I'm sure the first will go to you.
Well, I guess we'll see, won't we?
Alright. A little give there. Good job, Anne.
Ruby, you be Elaine. You're the only one who has golden hair.
I couldn't lie there and pretend I was dead. I'd die of fright, honest.
Do the canoe scene!
You be Elaine, Anne. This is your idea. A red-haired person cannot play the Lily Maid. Tennyson would never approve. Your complexion's just as fair as Ruby's. And anyway, your hair's darker now than just plain old red.
I'm so happy.
Lay the piano cover over me. Oh, Charlotte.
There he is.
Shirley. What in the heck are you doing?
Fishing for lake trout.
For lake trout.
Anne and her future baby daddy.
Nobody home.
You're most welcome.
I am grateful for your assistance, Mr. Blythe. No, it was not required. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to find my friends. They are likely overcome with fear for my life.
Oh, Anne, wait a minute. I was just down at the post office to see if the Queen's results had been printed.
Congratulations on coming first, Gilbert. I'm sure you're very proud of your achievements.
Wait a minute, you ninny. We tied for first place. You and I. I figured you'd have it for sure. We all passed. Our entire class.
They keep tying.
All 200?
I'm sorry you had to share with me.
Never expected to beat you.
Can't we be friends? This childishness has gone on long enough, don't you think?
The fact that you rescued me unnecessarily hardly wipes out past wrongs.
Look, I'm sorry I ever said anything about your hair. You have no idea how sorry. It was so long ago. Aren't you ever going to forgive me?
You hurt my feelings excruciatingly.
I only said it because I wanted to meet you so much.
Why did you turn your back on me at the Christmas ball?
Man, that was over a year ago.
It was a deliberate humiliation.
And I knew exactly what you were thinking too, Anne Shirley. You and Diana Barry. Look, can we be friends now?
Why don't you figure it out? If you're so clever.
Good heavens.
Anne, wait a minute.
Everyone will think I'm drowned!
Good afternoon, Miss Cuthbert.
Good afternoon.
I'm Gilbert Blythe.
Yes. You've grown into quite a young man.
Yes, he has.
So you must be very proud of Anne. It's a real challenge keeping up with her at school.
Yes. Matthew and I are both proud. She has the talent to make something of herself. But she's still very young, Gilbert.
Hint, hint.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, ma'am.
Woo! Things were said without being said. Wow. That was a good scene. What?
Hello, Anne.
Clearly ignoring Marilla's warning.
Can I offer you a ride home? You promised we were going to be friends, remember?
She didn't technically.
Well, all right then. It is rather awkward with all these. It was good of you to stop.
Seems I'm developing quite a habit of getting you out of awkward situations.
I thought a lot about what happened
wonderful
at the bridge,
chemistry.
Gilbert.
Like, oh my god.
What I mean to say is, it was very rude of me to just run off like that. But I was very overwrought over learning my score. Our score. I mean, I wasn't myself.
That's all right. Life's too short to hold grudges anyway.
Hint, hint.
It's valiant of you to say so. You'll go far with that kind of attitude.
Do you know what you're going to study at Queen's yet, Anne?
I intend on taking my teacher's license in 1 year, instead of 2, at Miss Stacy's suggestion.
Gee, I always imagined you'd have a career on the stage. I think you'd make a swell actress.
Oh yeah.
Especially as the Lily Maid. I hear you're giving the Highwayman at the White Sands recital.
My life is an open book, I see. Who told you that?
Well, I have a little confession to make. Well, I was just at the Lawsons myself, and Alice told me you were walking home.
Oh.
I'm going to try to get you an encore while you're up there, so make sure you have a second selection ready.
Nobody's gonna encore me.
Well, I would. Especially if I had the honor of escorting you to the concert.
I don't know. I promised the Berries I'd go with them, but
I think you're old enough to make up your own mind, Anne.
I've always been old enough to make up my own mind. Very well then, Gilbert. I'd be pleased to accept your invitation. Could you let me off at the corner, please? I'm going to take a shortcut and show Diana what I bought.
And scream about what I just did. Ooh, Lordy. Ooh, Lordy, there we are.
Matthew.
And Shirley, I've just been informed by a reliable source that you were seen at Avonlea Crossroads in a buggy with a young man.
Marilla.
He only offered me a ride home. He was just being friendly.
Not according to Rachel Lynde.
Rachel Lynde?
Marilla,
Yes.
consider
Rachel
the
Lynde
source.
saw you.
Marilla, she ain't done nothing wrong.
Changed so much. Grown so tall and so stylish. You don't belong in Avonlea anymore.
Yes, she does.
I get lonely just thinking about it. You'll be going off into the world to make your way, and you don't want to make any ties here that you might come to regret later.
Ay, ay, ay.
Doesn't matter where I go or how I change. I'll always be your Anne. I want you to give this to him. Dear Gilbert, I regret that I'll be unable to attend the White Sands concert with you. Sincerely, Anne Shirley. Why won't you go with them? Plenty of reasons why I won't go. I only accepted in the first place because he dared me. Well, I think you owe him an explanation. And he lay in his blood on the highway with a bunch of lace at his throat.
He's so proud of his future wifey.
Go back. They're encoring you.
Okay, go back.
Damn right, he's standing for his girl.
And I have to admit, I was so proud.
Your recitation was magnificent as Mrs. Evans.
People kept interrupting her.
Professional. Well, I overheard that romantic-looking young man over there asking who the girl on the platform was with the lovely Titian hair.
Wait, Josie Pye.
Whatever that means.
Gilbert! Gilbert! Take it, Matthew. It'll be easier if I go quickly by myself.
Getting emotional over nothing.
Nothing. You both mean everything to me.
All this foolishness. You might as well kiss him too.
Oh, she will.
All aboard! All aboard!
I'm afraid for her, Matthew. She'll be gone so long. She'll get terrible lonesome.
You mean we'll get terrible lonesome?
I can't help wishing that she'd stayed a little girl.
Miss Spencer made a lucky mistake, I guess.
It wasn't luck, it was providence. He knew we needed her.
Damn right.
Even with her queer little ways.
Gilbert Blythe is a rake. And after his insulting behavior at the White Sands concert, I've decided to completely ignore him. Besides, there are far more dashing young men around here anyway.
That little smirk of hers.
I'm amazed that Gilbert could even insult you.
We've been looking all over for you. Second year class rep.
The little smirk of hers was
I wish you people
so
had decided
cute.
to go
She's
in
like,
second.
really?
Second? I'll be lucky if I pass for...
Oh, Jesus.
Three cheers for Aunt Shirley, winner of the Avery.
Oh, Lord. Does he?
Matthew! What is it?
Oh, does he die in this one?
I'm all right.
Please, Matthew, you need help. Gotta get a doctor.
I worked hard all my life. I'd rather drop in the harness. I got old. I never noticed.
I've been the boy you sent for. I could have spared you in so many ways.
Oh, jeez.
I never wanted a boy. I only wanted you from the first day. Don't ever change. I love my little girl. I'm so proud of my little girl.
You don't.
I didn't remember that he dies in the first one. Or, well, if they're smushing this one and Avonlea, I don't remember if they smush this one and Avonlea together.
I don't know what I'd do if you'd never come. But you mustn't think that I don't love you as much as Matthew did.
Oh.
It's never been easy for me to say the things from my heart, but you're like my own flesh and blood now.
Decreases the value. Now may be a good time to consider selling if you want to get the highest value.
You shut your filthy mouth,
I
sir!
that the thought has crossed my mind.
You could certainly retire.
No!
But I'm prepared to offer you for the place.
Thank you, Mr. Savage.
You shut your filthy mouth!
You won't have to stay here alone. I'm not going to Redmond.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to take that scholarship. I've already decided, but I hadn't told you yet. Mr. Barry said he'd rent our fields next year, and I'm going to take the school at Carmody. They need a teacher, and I'm sure they'd be glad to have me. I can drive back and forth until the weather gets bad, and then I'll board and come home on the weekends.
I won't let you sacrifice your education for me. I won't allow it, Anne Shirley.
I am going to do it. I'm 16 years old, and just as stubborn as you are.
Just the facts.
Oh. You blessed girl. I know I ought to stick to it and make you go to college, but I've learned better than to stand in your way. Gilbert Blythe will be teaching too, won't he?
Yes.
Hint, hint.
What a nice-looking young boy he is. He looks a lot like his father did at that age. We used to be real good friends, he and I. People called him my beau.
And what happened?
We quarreled, and I wouldn't forgive him when he asked me to. I wanted to after a while, but I was stubborn. I wanted to punish him first.
History repeating himself.
He never came back. I always felt rather sorry. I sort of wished that I had forgiven him when I had a chance.
Right here comes.
Guess who's back? Back again. Gilbert's back. Now marry him!
Whoa. Hello, Anne.
Taking a shortcut, Mr. Blythe.
Miss Cuthbert said I could find you here. Open it.
We would be prepared to agree to your proposal to engage Miss Shirley under contract for 1 year in the post of teacher at Avery Public School. That's your post.
Well, I took the liberty of speaking to the trustees about an exchange. I'll be getting Carmody, and you can stay at Green Gables.
I don't know what to say.
And that is why
Don't say anything.
he is the motherfucking
You'd have to
number
pay for your
one
board.
book boyfriend.
Never save enough for college. You can't.
I'll save enough. Besides, I'm keeping up my studies by correspondence.
So am I. Thank you for giving up the school for me, Gilbert. It's very good of you. I want you to know that I really appreciate it.
I figure you can give me a hand with my work, and we'll call it a fair exchange.
Aren't you worried? I'm liable to break another slate over your head.
I'm not worried I might break one over yours. Carrots. Walk you home.
Rest in peace, Jonathan Crombie, you precious blueberry! Oh my god. Oh. That was everything I had hoped it would be. Now it just makes me want to watch the other ones, which I don't have yet. Because, oh my god, I want to continue their story. I have a brief memory of, I'm not sure if it's the third movie. There's one time where, and I think the third one diverts from the books, because I don't, like, this does not happen in the books, but there's a point where Gilbert goes to war. I think it's the First World War happens, and Gilbert goes to fight, because I know he becomes a doctor, so I think he goes into the war as a medic. But then he goes missing, and Anne goes to find him, and there's this guy, I think, that helps her, and they try to put like some kind of like sexual tension between her and the guy. And again, this was like, I was little when I watched this. Like, I remember nothing except for that and feeling how wrong it was for them to even like try and put that in there, when it's like, no, it's Anne and Gilbert, full stop, period, end of sentence. So I do want to watch all of them, but I know that that's going to annoy me, because you don't touch my Gilbert and my Anne. You don't mess with them. And yeah, that does not happen in the books. So that's just some movie Hollywood crap that they put in there. But I'm still very interested in watching all of the rest of the movies. I believe there's 3. I know there's the second one that's called, I think it's just called Anne of Green Gables, the sequel. And, yeah. But, this was everything I wanted. So good. And just gave you all the feel-good feels. And, even when, the sad bits, you just, you're just so invested in the characters that, of course, when sad things happen, you cry with them. And I'm wondering if in the third movie, are they do they have their children in the third movie? I don't know, because I believe the series is 8 books or something like that. And I think the last book is Rilla of the Island, which is Anne's daughter, of Rilla of Ingleside, which is Anne's daughter story. And it's still, Anne and the family and all this. But that was the book that I absolutely fell in love with one of their children. I love all their children, but one in particular captures my heart. And something happens to that child, that I still haven't forgiven Lucy Maud Montgomery for doing that to me. I still haven't. But yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to watching the other movies in this series. This was just beautiful. The acting was amazing. The chemistry between Anne and Gilbert, Megan Follows, and Jonathan Crombie was just exquisite. Exquisite. It was perfection. The actor who played Matthew, of course, just captured your heart. Colleen Dewhurst as Marilla was just perfect as this hard woman with this marshmallow sort of center. The actress who played Rachel Lynde was perfect. Diana Barry. And I didn't know that Mag Ruffman was in this movie series, because I only know her from, she was the shopkeeper. I only know her from Road to Avonlea. And, yeah, eventually I do want to get into that series, as well. And, yeah, it was just, this movie was just wonderful. Just wonderful. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this movie, by all means, do subscribe and let me know. Sort of, have you read the books? There's a whole book versus movie sort of adaptation thing, and I sort of actually did it backwards this time, whereas I read the books first. So, is the book better? Is the movie better? I love them both. I love them both. And my one critique, which is not really a critique because I understand they can't put everything on, some people who always say that the book is better because it has more blah blah, blah and because the Hollywood cut so much and blah blah blah. Okay, this is a 3-hour movie. The book has the subplot of Miss Stacy with, I can't remember what his name is right now, but there's a little subplot with Miss Stacy who falls in love with this guy who has these children, who has this little boy. Oh, what was his name? Or, wait, maybe, do we get that in the second movie? We might get that in the second movie. Huh. So I'm gonna hold off on my critique of that. 'Cause, yeah, I think Anne is the teacher of the son who Miss Stacy actually ends up with. So, I'm gonna hold my roll there. So, yeah, no criticisms. No criticisms of this movie at all. It had all, like, my favorite moments. The canoe scene. Oh, my God. And, yeah, I love how they perfectly, like, Anne and Gilbert, they didn't rush that at all. They were very loyal to that, the very slow burn of that, and her, like, her fighting it the whole time. And how perfectly Jonathan Crombie portrayed the simp that Gilbert was for Anne from day one. From day one! He just totally shot himself in the foot with his teasing and his idea of flirting. He, like, went totally about it the wrong way. His methods were not the methods to use on Anne. And that ended up shooting him in the foot for a long time. But yeah, I love how they teased her forgiveness of him out very slowly, and it was just perfectly done. Yeah, I'm very interested to see if, I think it's Anne of the Island? Or maybe it's Anne of Avonlea, because I'm not sure if this stuck to just Anne of Green Gables, or if they mushed in Anne of Avonlea as well, because I read the first book of it, like, over 2 years ago, and yeah, so some details of timelines are a bit iffy for me, but I'm just very, very much looking forward to watching the rest of the movies. I just have to get them. So, yeah, so make sure that you're subscribed, and then you can see when I record my reactions for those. This was beautiful. It was everything I wanted. And that is going to be the end of this week's video. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/author Ejamie. Like my Facebook page at facebook.com/author Ejamie. Remember, full reaction will be up on Patreon if you want to follow along on the 3-hour, 15-minute entirety of this reaction. Or you can stay here on YouTube and get the edited reaction. And I will talk to you guys next time. R.I.P. Jonathan Crombie, you wonderful, wonderful man.